StrayAllDay.com. Tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you got to use those personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves all of us, especially you, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And what we do here is we take all of that I just gave you, we put this all together strategically into one philosophy, one mindset, one method. There is a book on the subject, and you are listening to the Daily Masterclass. This is not a podcast. This is the Daily Masterclass, known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic, I told you we're gonna stretch out this What I Would Do Differently series, and this one is gonna be on how I would sell products if starting out today. Or we could also call this how I would become an entrepreneur if I was starting out today to become an entrepreneur, because I became an entrepreneur, I mispronounced that there. I became an entrepreneur through creating and selling my own products back in the 2008 through 2010 era. That's when I first started doing it. I actually sold products online on a site called eBay, which you're probably familiar with. That was back in 2001, 2002-ish. I was selling products there. And then in 2008, this is in the middle of my athletic career, when I found myself unemployed without a job in professional sports, I went and started creating my own products because I wanted to give myself some more power over my income, over how much money I was making, and having control over my life, because I wanted to make sure I could live like an adult, which would require me being able to pay for some things. And that's why I wanted to start creating products and services, so just in case I found myself unemployed again, I wouldn't be, just wondering, all right, what the hell am I gonna do next while I waited for the phone to ring. So this is another, as I said, What I Would Do Differently masterclass. This is another in the series. And today is about creating and selling products, which I already explained that I got into the entrepreneurship world this way. I don't have any more introduction information here, so let's get right into it. Point number one, the topic again, how I would sell products if starting out today. Number one thing that I would do, I would build a contact list. And I would emphasize the building and the growing and the expanding of a contact list. This is the most important thing that I would do in building a business, specifically the way that I built mine. I want to be clear here. I could have said this in the introduction, that I'm going to talk about the way that I would do the same thing that I'm doing now differently and better and smarter and more efficiently, more strategically. I want you to understand, though, when I talk about entrepreneurship and creating and selling goods and services, that there are thousands of different ways to do this. You can be an entrepreneur without ever creating a single product. You can sell other people's products. You can be an affiliate marketer, never create anything, and just sell other people's stuff and make money that way. You could be a car salesman. You don't create the car, but you're the one who sells it because you got the dealership and you got the lot in the middle of the city. So there are a lot of different ways. You could be you can start your own food truck. So there are many ways that you can be an entrepreneur. This is not the only way to be an entrepreneur. So what I'm talking about is specifically if you're going to be in these lanes that I am in. So when we're talking thought leadership, online branding, being an infopreneur, that's when you take knowledge and high level information and you package it up and actually sell it to people. Thought leadership being that you're known as a person who is an authority on a certain subject and you're able to trade on your intellectual property and the power of your brand as a result of that. If you want to get into those areas, online digital marketing, where you are marketing and promoting yourself and your ideas and your content, your movements, and then you're able to sell products, leveraging the strength of that brand, the strength of your name. Those are the lanes that I'm in. If you want to get into these lanes, what I'm talking about here today is how I would do that better and more efficiently. All right, I should have said that in the introduction, but now we said in point number one. Again, point number one is build a contact list. This is the most important thing. I know that I missed out on a good probably 30 to 50,000 contacts between 2008 and 2012 because I didn't have an email list. If we could even go back to 2005, I didn't have an email list, and because I didn't have one, I probably missed out on, again, 30 to 50,000 people would have been on my list now that are not on my list today. Now, I sold a lot of products to some of those 30 to 50,000 people. So some of them still made it onto the contact list, and some people stuck around long enough to when I finally figured out that I needed a contact list and start actually building one. That was probably around 2013. That's when I really started understanding, oh yeah, I should get people on a list here. some of them still made it onto the contact list. So I wouldn't say I missed all 30 to 50,000, but I missed a good chunk of them. I would say at least half of those I missed because I just didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't know what I was doing. But I'm sure I missed a whole lot of them simply because there was no way for them to connect. There are people who are subscribed on YouTube or liking on Facebook or following on Instagram or Twitter or what's the other ones, whatever other platforms there are. Those platforms, and I've talked about this extensively many times when we talked about social media for your business. How much does it matter? I talked about this in masterclass number 1114. How much does social media matter for your business? And one of the things that I talked about there and in many other masterclasses is understanding that social media platforms, they own your business. All right, they own your list. So if you think that you have a list because you got 200,000 subs on YouTube or you got 5,000 followers on Instagram, you don't own that. All right, Instagram owns all of those people. Because if you deleted your account, all those 5,000 people will still be there. They don't go away because you went away. If your YouTube channel goes away, all your subscribers do not disappear because you disappeared. They're still there. They're just not subscribed to you anymore. I talked about this again in masterclass number 1243, taking ownership of your business. Your followers and subscribers on any platform which you do not own, you do not own. Do you understand? If you are listening to me right now on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud, I want you to understand something. I have no way of knowing that you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud because those platforms do not give me a list of here's all the people who listen to your show today. Here's their email, here's their name, here's their phone number, here's the device they're on, here's their IP address to know where they're checking in from. Let me be clear. They know that information. All right, so if you think you're glad that they don't get that information, so your information isn't getting out, or your information is already out. All right, if you have an app on your phone, if you got a smartphone with apps on it, all right, they know where you're at, they know your name, they know where you're going, they know what you're talking about, they know everything. All right, they're looking at your pictures, they're reading your text messages, they know everything. I'm not telling you that to scare you, but just to inform you, just in case you didn't know. But they don't give that information away. So the reason why Instagram was able to purchase the WhatsApp for billions of dollars and what other platforms got purchased. Whenever somebody buys something, when Instagram was willing to pay $1 billion for Snapchat and Snapchat said no for whatever reason, is not because of the technology, it's because of the size of the list. Snapchat has a list, a customer list of clients and subscribers to that app that Instagram does not have access to. That's what they were paying for. They weren't paying for the ability to create a storying software because obviously they have coders who can create that. They went and did it and made Instagram stories. They were not buying the technology, they were buying the list. So if Spotify buys Apple Music or any platform gets bought by another platform, any app gets bought by another app, what they are buying is not the technology or the system or the how-to. What they are buying is the access to the people. I have on my smartphone, my data plan is through Sprint. I have a Sprint phone account. And I saw an email not too long ago where it says Sprint and T-Mobile have merged, or one of them bought the other one, whatever it is. They merged together. What are they merging for? Is it because of the network? You know, the commercials where they show well, our network has better connection than this network. All right, all of that is bullshit because I hear everybody, whatever plan you're on, whether you got Sprint, T-Mobile, Boost Mobile, Verizon, I don't know, whatever other platforms are out there that have offered smartphone services or cell phone services. I've heard people complain about all of them. Oh, I got Verizon, it never works. I got Sprint, it doesn't work. I got T-Mobile, it doesn't work. Everybody complains about their network not working. So those commercials about how big the network is, all of that is that's window dressing for you. The value of those companies is not about the size of their network, even though their commercials want you to think that. The value of their companies is how many people they have access to. They got all your data. They know everybody you call. They know everywhere that you go. They know your name. They know your phone number. Obviously, they know your email address. They've collected this much money from you over the years. That's the value. All right, that's the list. And y'all notice I'm spending a lot of time on this whole concept of the list. Any of you who's going to be an online entrepreneur, I don't care what you are selling, how you are selling it, you need a contact list. Actually, it don't even have to be online, even offline. If you you run a car dealership, if you have a meal delivery service, you got a donut shop in the neighborhood, you want a customer list. You want a list of people who have been to your business before and a way to contact them directly. Because if you don't have a way to contact them directly, you can still get in touch with them, but it's going to cost you. And it's not going to be as easy. It's going to be much more friction in order for you to do it. And you're not going to be able to get in touch with everybody. That's why a contact list is so important. This is why when you go to certain businesses, you'll see an app like DoorDash or Uber Eats now. When I go on one of those apps and you're about to order something, they'll say, well, look, we'll give you free delivery. We'll wipe out the delivery charge at $2.99. You won't pay that. And you'll get your first 3 weeks free if you sign up for DoorDash Premium or whatever the hell their program is called, where you're paying $10 a month and then every delivery is free. Now, why do they do that? Well, first of all, it gives them a guaranteed $10 recurring revenue every month. Another reason is what was the other reason I was going to say? I forgot. Oh yeah, the other reason is they delete all of the other apps as competition. So if I'm paying $10 a month for DoorDash, I'm gonna make every delivery through DoorDash. I'm not gonna use Uber Eats. I'm not gonna use Postmates. I'm not gonna use, what's the other one? Grubhub. I'm not gonna use those because I'm already paying $10 a month for DoorDash. So they're eliminating competition every time they get somebody to sign up for that. And the other thing that they're doing is they get more of your information, because now they know more of what you're ordering. They know more of what type of food you eat. They know where you're getting it delivered to, so they know where you live. They know they know where you're getting it from. They know where you're traveling to, because you're using it when you're traveling around. They're just gathering more data. All these companies' value is in their data. It is not in their technology. It is not in their coding. All right, you hire a good coder, they can pretty much clone any app that you use on your phone. There is no app that is not that complex that somebody else can't make the same thing if they get a basic idea of what's going on and you give them enough time to figure it out. They are selling the data. All right, that is why so many applications are free, is because they're collecting your data, and that data is worth a whole lot more than anything they could possibly charge you. All that being said, we're still on point number one here. What I would do differently if building a business online, and the first point is building that contact list. What does a contact list have to do with selling products though? Because that's what today's topic is, right? Selling products. What is all of this that I just told you, talking about data and people collecting information and knowing everything about you? Dre, I thought the point was what you would do differently is selling products. Why are you talking about all of this going on, this long ass tangent? What does that have to do with selling products? Let me tell you. When you are selling a product, I don't care if you're selling donuts, if you're selling meal delivery, if you are selling McDonald's, late night McDonald's, if you are selling master classes, if you're selling books, anything that you are selling, you want to sell to a warm audience first. What is a warm audience? For those of you who don't understand the marketing world, you have warm audiences, you have cold audiences. We'll just say warm and cold. We'll just, for sake of conversation. A cold audience is a bunch of people who have no idea who you are and may or may not be interested in whatever it is that you're selling. That's a cold audience. For example, if you purchase billboard space by the highway wherever you live, and every car that rides by is seeing that billboard, ostensibly they're seeing that billboard, that is cold trafficking. That's cold marketing, because you have no idea who any of those people is in those cars that are riding by. You have no way of capturing their email address or phone number just because they saw your billboard, even though they may laugh at it or they may remember it because they're seeing it every single day, or they might completely ignore it. It is cold marketing because you are not targeting a specific audience. All you're targeting is anybody who drives by on the highway, which could be literally anybody. Cold marketing also could be if, let's say, you have an email list and those people have never heard of me, and I buy your email list off of you. You got 2,000 people on your list. I just buy that list off of you. You give me access to the list, and I send an email of my product out to all of those people. Maybe a few of them might buy it. A bunch of them are going to hit unsubscribe. A bunch of them are going to mark me as spam. I'm going to get a bunch of spam complaints because those people never heard of me and never subscribed to my list. And maybe a couple of them will buy, but that's cold marketing. When you are sending a message to people who didn't ask for the message, have never identified that they are interested in the message, but you still are marketing to them, we call that cold marketing. Warm traffic marketing or cold traffic marketing. Warm traffic marketing is when you are reaching out to an audience of people that have in some way, shape, or form either A, giving you permission to market to them, i.e. they have subscribed to your email list or followed you, or they subscribed to your podcast, or they followed you on, or they subbed you on YouTube, or they followed you on Instagram. Anyone who is following you on social media is giving you permission to market to them. They're giving you permission to say whatever you want to say, and they have identified that they want to hear it. Now, that's what it means when you follow somebody on Twitter, that you want to hear what they have to say. And if you don't want to hear it anymore, you unfollow them. That's the way that it works. So if someone subscribes to you, they are giving you permission to say whatever it is that you want to say. If you want to market, you can market. You want to tell them something funny, tell them something funny. And the point that they decide they don't want to hear it no more, they can unsubscribe. All right, everybody has their complete autonomy to do that. Another way that someone can let you know, or they can become a warm audience, is if they have identified that they are interested in your subject matter. So for example, I just told you that I could pay you to send an email to all 2,000 people on your list. Now, if your email list is about, I don't know, organic, natural forms of healing for people who have chronic headaches, and I'm talking about how to play basketball overseas, that's not a very targeted list that I should be reaching out to. That would be a bad decision by me to send anything to that list. It would be a bad decision by you too, but you might do it just for the bag, just to get that money. But it would still be a bad decision by you, because if any way people could connect me sending that spam message, and spam is relative, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm talking to a bunch of people who want to play overseas and the message about playing overseas is not spam. If I send that message to a bunch of people who are looking at retirement home communities, that's spam, because they're not interested. If someone's interested is not spam. They aren't interested, it's spam. Now you understand that. Now, if I want to send a message to 2,000 people and I'm going to pay somebody to send a message to their list, I'm going to go look for somebody who has an audience that is symbiotic to my offering. So since I'm talking about overseas basketball, I'm going to go find somebody who might talk about, getting recruited to play in college, or how to be better as a basketball player, or if you want to play professional sports, maybe someone who just markets to people who want to play professional sports, doesn't even say what sport. I'm going to look for somebody who has an audience that is warm toward my offering. And I know they're warm toward my offering if they are, and I should have a list of things that will make them warm. So if I was offering natural healing products, let's say I was selling natural healing products, I'm gonna look for somebody who talks about organic stuff, somebody who's all about the connection between the spirit, the mind, and the body, and the soul, maybe a yoga instructor, maybe somebody who owns maybe some type of herbal supplements that they sell, anybody who does anything else in the natural healing space. I don't know enough about it to give you any other examples, but you understand what I'm saying here. If I'm selling refrigerators, then I'm gonna look for somebody who may be in real estate, or maybe somebody who sells washing machines, or somebody who sells a dishwashers, or does flooring for people's kitchens, or sells, the little islands that go on people's kitchens. Those are the type of, I'm gonna look for somebody who's maybe offering something similar to what I'm selling. That means they are somewhat, in some way, warm to my offering. An even warmer audience, the most hot audience, of people who have already bought from you in the past. So I'm going to sell my next book that's going to come out, and I do have another book coming out always. When I'm thinking about the next book that I'm going to sell, the most important people I want to sell that to are people who have already bought the previous book, or people who have bought a previous book. Your past buyers are your most eager future and present buyers. So the warmest audience are the people who are on my list. I have a list. Here are the people who read all my emails. Here are the people who read some of them. Here are the people who read only sparingly. They read the emails. Here are the people who are paying for something from me right now. Here are the people who bought something from me last week. Here are the people who bought something from me in the last year. Here are the people who have bought something from me ever. I have these lists. You want to have these lists segmented out, and you can do this. Most email marketing software programs, such as what do we have? I can't even remember the names of all these things. Agile's, there's like a CRM like Agile, or MailChimp is a very popular one. Infusionsoft is another popular one. Very confusing, but it is popular. Any of those platforms they will segment these things for you. All you have to do is just choose what you're looking for. But you can identify the warmest audience that you possibly have. Those are the ones that you want to send your products and services to when you have a new offering. And here's the great thing about it. When you can send an offering to a warm list of people that you already have contact with, you already have access to them, they've already given you permission to market to them. We call this permission marketing. Having a solid engaged list means you don't need to spend a single dollar on Facebook ads or Google ads or social media. You don't need to spend any time marketing on social media or building up your profile, whatever you want to call that. You don't have to pay for a billboard on the side of the highway. You don't have to pay an influencer to market or your product or service to a cold audience that may not be interested at all in whatever it is you're offering, or it may be a somewhat cold, somewhat warm audience, because you own access to your list. When you own access to everyone who is already on your list, unlike with social media, you have an intimate relationship with those individuals. One of the most important things that I would do starting now is build that list. And I would keep building that list. I would still build it today, and I would keep building it moving forward. It is the most important aspect of owning a business, is having a list of customers. Does that matter? Does that make sense that you want to have a list of customers? Now, having a bunch of ideas, and making a bunch of videos, or having a bunch of funny posts to put on Twitter, or a bunch of beautiful pictures to put on Instagram, none of those make you money. All right, you don't get paid for those things. You get paid when customers buy your products or services. So the most important thing you can have is a list of customers who will buy your products or services. Does that make sense? I think so. Point number 2. Today's topic is how I would create and sell products online if starting out today. Second thing I would do is focus on one product offering. Not 2 product offerings, 1 product offering. 2 reasons why I would do this. Reason A is that when you, as the salesperson, have many products, you don't always know which product should you promote and to whom should you promote it. You always have to make a decision every time you're thinking about your products when you have more than one product offering. The other reason that is even more important than that reason is reason B. If a customer comes across, or they're not even a customer yet, let's say they're a prospect, they're just an interested person who comes across your product offering and they see that you have multiple products and they are not clear on which one they should get or where they should begin, they become confused. And let me tell you what confused people do. All right, I just told you. Confused people do nothing. Confused people do not take action. Confused people do not email you and ask you, hey, I see that you have 10 products here. Which one should I start with? If you get a person who asks you that, that's because they're super interested. So make sure you answer them quickly because they're probably going to buy something. But most of the people, the other 90% of people who are confused about which of your products they should buy first, you know what they buy? Nothing. They don't buy any of your products because they are confused as to what to do. When people are confused, they take no action. They do not ask for clarification. They do not follow up with you. They do not say, hey, if you can make this real simpler, that will help a whole lot of people and help you out too. They don't offer you advice. They just go away and go find somebody who makes it very simple for them to make a decision. Now, you want to reduce decision fatigue, not only for yourself, but also for your prospects and future clients. You want to make it very easy for them to make a decision. You know the easiest way to help a person make a decision is to give them no options. The easiest way to help a person make a decision is to give them no options. Meaning, well, actually you are giving them an option, but you want to narrow their options as much as possible. In other words, you narrow their options to do this or do nothing. That's basically what you want to narrow people to. Any of you who knows anything about online marketing have heard of the concept of a landing page or a squeeze page. The whole purpose of a landing page / squeeze page, they're the same thing, is that you offer people the option to do one thing. You do one thing or you do no thing. If any of you have been to the page at balloverseas.com for the Overseas Basketball Blueprint, mirrormotivation.com for the Mirror Motivation, for my book, Work on Your Game, for the Game Group membership, Work on Your Game University, they are all landing pages or what some people used to call squeeze pages. Nowadays they call them landing pages because it just sounds more, more politically correct. I don't know, whatever reason they call it that. One common trait that all those pages share, you can go look at them right now and you'll see this. You only have one thing that you can do on those pages. There's only one thing to do. Now the page might be very long, maybe a lot of information on it, but there's only one thing you can do on the page. The only thing you can do when you go to balloverseas.com is claim your free copy of the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. Nothing else you can do. You either do that or you leave. The 2 ways that you get off that page. You either claim your free copy of the book or you leave. I'm not giving you any other option. And this is why what I'm saying here is I would focus on one product offering. Now I got multiple products now and multiple angles that I go into, but I've been established. I've been in the game for a minute, so I can do this. But if I was starting out brand new right now, I would focus on one product offering to one specific type of customer. Then I would slowly expand, which is what I actually did at the beginning too. When I started out, many of you would not be listening to this because there was no podcast. When I started out, I was making basketball videos in the gym for basketball players to get better. Who listens to this right now is an active basketball player aspiring to play in high school, college, or pros. If you're not that, when I started out, you would not know about me because you wouldn't be paying attention to what I was doing. But luckily for you and me, I expanded to other audiences and now we're here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Confused prospects, do nothing. You need to make things as simple as possible for your clients because just like we talked about a couple days ago, feeding the dog medicine, human beings are just as dumb as the dogs. If you give a dog too many options, they're not going to do anything. You got to give humans one option so that they know exactly what they need to do. All right. I don't think you're a dumb person. I think you are a very intelligent person. And maybe all your friends are intelligent as well because we know the law of association. But you should assume that everyone who comes across your product offering is a complete idiot. Therefore, you want to make things as simple as possible so that they can't possibly mess it up. All right, that's your goal. You want to lower complexity. All right, you don't want things to be complex at all. You want it to be so simple and so easy that even a caveman can do it. Shout out to Geico. Point number 3. Today's topic is what I would do to start creating and selling products starting today. Point number 3. I would dominate one platform when it comes to, aside from my own platform. So aside from having my own website or sales funnel or process and my email list and all that, outside of my stuff, I would choose one platform to dominate because the reason why I would do this is when I say platform, I'm talking about some platform that somebody else owns. So whether Mark Zuckerberg owns it, Sergey and Larry over at Google own it, or whatever other platform out there. Actually, it's pretty much those two. All right, yeah, it's one of those. Or Steve Jobs, Tim Cook, I guess is the guy now. If they own it, I would choose one of those platforms and dominate just that platform. Not all of them, just one. So between podcasting, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and whatever else is out there that I might be out of touch with, I would choose one of those platforms and just dominate just that platform. I wouldn't pay attention to any other platforms. Pick one and dominate just that. Your audience on that platform will be well fed because all your attention is going there. You're not thinking that you got to have 10 hands and post to a bunch of platforms at the same time. Now, your question might be, well, Dre, what if I decide I want to dominate Facebook, but there are people who don't use Facebook? Or what if I want to dominate podcasting, but there are people who don't listen to podcasts? And they would be perfect for my product or service. They are perfect audience. They're the perfect audience member for the product or service that I'm selling. How am I supposed to do that, Dre, with this great idea of only dominating one platform? Well, let me tell you something that you should know, something that you should keep in mind. When your stuff is good enough, people will show up to that platform. You see, when you have a targeted audience, you know exactly who you are helping, and you are very specific as to who you're helping, to the point that you become the only or one of the very few who can help them with that challenge, they will go to where you're at. You don't have to go to them. They will come to you because you have what they need. People will do crazy things to get what they need if they believe there's only one place to get it. All right, and all of y'all know, you've seen this in your own life. If you believe there's only one place to get something that you need, you will do whatever you got to do to get there. True or not? Of course it's true. I know what I'm talking about here. I've had many people who told me, Dre, I never read books in my life outside of school when they made me, but when I saw your books, I bought books for the first time in my life. Now I read books. Or people who would say, Dre, I never listen to podcasts. I still don't listen to podcasts. The only podcast I listen to is the Work on Your Game show. That's the only reason I got the podcast app on my phone, is to listen to yours. And when your stuff is good enough, this is what I want you to keep in mind. When your stuff is good enough, in other words, it addresses other people's needs well enough, people will accept a bit of inconvenience. They'll accept a little bit of friction just to get to it. Friction is creating a Facebook account, even though you don't use Facebook, just so they could join your Facebook group because you're the only person in the world who teaches them how to knit sweaters with, this new type of yarn that just came out. All right, whatever it happens to be for you. They'll go there because they heard that you're the one who has the goods. But you got to be targeted and specific enough with your offering that people are like, oh, I have to go there because nobody else has it. Now, if there are a bunch of other people who has it, you're just a Me Too individual, not the Me Too hashtag, but you're a Me Too person, meaning there's a bunch of other people who can say Me Too, then, all right, people don't have to come to where you're at. You got to make it to where they have to come to where you're at. And that is a matter of not even necessarily that you have to create a new audience. It's just the way that you target and position yourself that will help you out. Maybe we'll do a masterclass on that. Let's recap today's class, which is how I would sell products if starting out today, which got me into entrepreneurship. So this is another one of those what I would do differently in the masterclass series. Point number one, I would build a contact list. I'm not going to go over all the reasons why I would build a contact list. Go listen to it because I spent more than half this episode talking about why I would build a contact list. I missed out on several thousand people who should be on my list to this very day because I did not have a list back in the day. And your warmest possible prospects, the people who are most apt to buy from you, are people who have already bought from you, people who are already on your list, people who have already given you permission to market, sell, and promote to them. They want you to market, sell, and promote to them. Can you imagine that? An audience of people who want you to sell them things? Wouldn't that be great? Guess what? They exist. It is called a list. If you don't have one and you call yourself having a business, you do not have a business. Get a list and get one now. Point number two, focus on one product offering. Two reasons for this. When you have many products, you may not always know which one to promote and to whom. And the other reason, when people don't know where to begin with all your products, they do absolutely nothing. They leave and go find somebody who makes it very easy for them. Human beings are stupid. You're not stupid. Your friends are not stupid. Nobody you know is stupid, but there are a whole bunch of other people out there who are stupid. Assume that everybody is stupid and make it very, very simple for them to not be able to mess it up. Make it very clear what they need to do when they come across you. Point number three, dominate one platform. I might open accounts on all the platforms so I can own the name. I might do it just for that. But other than that, I'm not posting on all of them. That's too much work. One platform will emerge as the best of all minds, and I'm gonna choose one and I'm gonna dominate that one. My audience will be well fed. Anybody who doesn't use that platform, when they find out what I'm doing on that platform, they will come there because they hear it is so good. There are people who don't read books who bought my books. There are people who don't listen to podcasts who listen to this podcast, not because I'm so great. Actually, it is because I'm so great. When you're so great at what you do in the area that you're at, people will come there simply because you're there. All right, and if your audience is targeted enough, you don't even have to be that good. But if you are specific and targeted enough as to who you're helping and there are no other options, people ain't got no choice but to come to where you're at. That's how I start a business. It's starting out today in the space that I'm in. Work on your game. Dre all day.